Mels, you came up against some pretty tough defenders in your time at PNE. Youl Mawene next to you, bringing back some memories.
Yeah, always happy when he was on my team in training rather than against me. A top centre half, Youli.
Tried to be anyway. Yeah, but I was a bit clumsy, so you would prefer to be on my team than against me.
Did you like training or not?
Yeah, I loved it. I think I was quite a good trainer, probably too much, probably loved it too much, but listen, it's I got a lot of success obviously by training hard, improving myself, and so yeah.
What was that mentality? Because you're saying you wanted to train hard to take it into the games. Is that something that you were sort of educated with when you were a little bit younger?
Yeah. I think it started young, you know. I mean, grassroots. You just do your top-up stuff at home, you know. You do your press up before you go to bed, just that type of stuff, basically. People don't know, but you do those things, and then I didn't
do press ups before bed.
Did you not press up? Did you not sit ups or nothing?
No.
Oh my days!
Is that a French thing?
How did you make a career? No. Yeah, maybe, but I just look to just always develop myself, push myself. I was always keen to find out what they're doing to get better, what he's doing to get better, you know. I was training after game on Sundays, you know, stuff that people don't see, obviously, and some stuff were a bit stupid as well when you look at the state of my knee now and obviously during my career. But you know, you're just looking to invest on yourself a little bit and get better.
I think that's one thing I'd say about Youli, the ultimate professional. Now the fans will see Youli in the games, don't really see him in the training like we used to, but yeah, the ultimate professional. And is that something that you sort of learned to be, or is that something that followed you throughout your career, obviously in France to start with and then Derby and then before you arrived at Preston North End?
Yeah, I think it was probably a little bit in me. I always like working hard, be OCD, like my programming, like my stuff. I mean, unfortunately, I had bad injury really young. On the plus side, I learned a lot about.
What was that? What injury was it?
It was lower back. I had a stress fracture on the lower back. I suffered from patellar tendinitis for 5-6 years until I got surgery.
Same injuries as me, by the way. So I had a stress fracture because of all the tennis I played, and then patellar tendinitis as well.
Yeah.
So those press ups before bed didn't really make any difference. That's what you're
saying. No, but they sent me to a rehab center in France at the time. I was in Lens, young player for the stress fracture, and then you working really hard. You're there from morning 8 o'clock. You start, you finish at 5. And you don't feel sorry for yourself because there's people who are accident from the road and things like that, people who never walk. And so when you look at it, you go, well, can't complain here, you know, I need to crack on. And so, and then I got working with lads who work in athletics as well, start to look at what they were doing, program over the summer. For example, summer was my preferred time because I could control everything about my preparations, which as a team, you can't really do that. And so I'll have 3 weeks of really, really hard running, you know, and I like to compete. I felt that I needed all the time to prove a point as well, which is sometimes not a very good thing, you know, having to always prove people wrong and that. But I love training. I love training, and at Preston we had a good group for that. Lads were hungry for tough sessions, so it was good.
He hasn't lost his accent, has he? How long have you been in England now?
For me, I sound just like you, but it's only when I will
listen.
Me, you don't. It's only when I will listen after when I'm thinking, Jesus, I sound French.
Yeah, you do.
You know. So, but no, I'm trying to.
It's been here 20 years. How long have you been here? Longer than that?
Yeah. Well, I've spent longer in England than I've spent in France now, because I came over. I was a 20-year-old, a young 20-year-old, 19, 20-year-old.
Could you speak English before you came?
Not really, no. I could read. I think I could speak, but not really, and understand people, the pace of the talking. But I picked it up quite quickly. So
why did you decide to come to England? Because your first move was Derby. You said that your first club in France was Lens, and you did play in the UEFA Cup against Arsenal, which I think is the first English team you played against. So why English football when obviously you had a chance of making a career in France?
I don't know really. I actually don't know, but it's just one of those things that happens. Obviously, at the time, the Premier League started to take over. I remember playing with Olivier Dacour, who just got back from Everton back to France. And at the time, in the changing room, what players talk about is, listen, the standards of Lens was really good. It was top standards because they'd won the league in 98, won the League Cup in 99. And in around that generation, they're playing European football, which is...
semi-finals of UEFA Cup,
which got me my big break, basically. And so you just... in the changing room, the lads talked about it, they said, what was he like, Everton? What was he like in England? What do you do? And then when you watch the Premier League at the weekend, you go, this is a place to be, So when an opportunity came, after having played against Arsenal at Highbury, you don't really think about it, you just go for it and then you'll work it out after, basically. And that was it. I remember he came about. It was so quick, so sudden. But next thing you know, I'm in Derby in a hotel there with my bag, with my dad, and then my dad left me, and that was it. I'm still here now.
So, have you still got the same bag?
He probably has. You must have had some options. I mean, you obviously highly thought of as a young French defender. Was it just Derby, or was there maybe sniffs from other clubs?
No. I think at the time they were the bossman rule. Quote me if I'm wrong. Meant that in France you can only sign for the club where you've done your academy, not other French clubs. And at the time, I went to Lens 5 years earlier. Rennes, which is a club from Brittany, not far where I'm from, were potentially interested. And so 5 years later, Rennes was a big club for promoting youth academy, Frank Sylvestre, and some of I can't remember the name.
Peter Cech came from
Peter Cech there, but there were a lot of young players who went through the ranks at Rennes, and it was a kind of a club seen as good for youth. And I remember at the time we talked about. I played toward this season, not many games, but I played. I wasn't a regular, but I showed probably enough, but probably not enough to start. Now, for me, I remember thinking that I could take a third, maybe fourth spot, but when I saw the new manager coming in Lens with his signing, and when we sat down, there were no room for me. So it was either a loan to a French club or potentially using that bossman. And so the two clubs in England were Derby and Blackburn Rovers, who were at the level below at the time. And I remember thinking, for me, no, it's a Premier League and nothing else. I don't want to know about anything else, But it was a shock to the system,
North End fans have been made up. You've turned Blackburn down there, by the way.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, yeah. I think it might have been Graham Souness. I don't know. If only Graham Souness was the manager. And I remember it was the two options were on the table. Hey, listen, what happened is an agent came and says, I've got this, I've got that. You've no idea. You go, well, let's just go for the biggest one, basically. And so, I love my time at Derby. It was hard to start with. There were some ups and downs, obviously. I didn't start the season. I was a young lad. And then I had to grind it a little bit, yeah.
You adapted well. You won Player of the Season in your first season at Derby.
But
so
no.
Listen to this guy.
No. What happened is that I came and it took me 6 months to really adapt. The language, the food. I mean, come on.
Great, isn't it? No?
What's not Greeks and what's not to like, isn't it?
Out for some drinks after with the lads, or was that not
no,
a French thing?
No. I didn't drink till I was about 28. I didn't touch probably any alcohol till I was 28. It wasn't my culture, basically. So I would go out and show my face and that, but it just wasn't something I would do. So,
but was it quite active back then? Sort of the lads would go out drinking.
Yes, so the young lads will normally go out at weekends and listen, it's a Premier League and the lifestyle was just like, and I understood then why so many players wants to join is because the football, the passion, football is a religion in these countries, religion Liverpool, religion Everton, religions Man U, but every club's like that and Derby was no different. And so Derby a bit more of a town. but even more when they used to send us young players to the social clubs and Bell Pairs and Ashbournes and all that. You felt part of a big family.
Neil Mellor scored! Preston take the lead! And that's exactly what it means to Neil Mellor to score in the West Lancashire derby.